This presentation was given in Yorkville, Illinois in February 2015 at the Chapel on the Green by organist Martha Price and me, Howard Manthei, to commemorate the 160th anniversary of the building's construction. In this segment, you'll hear about the changes the congregational members made to their church building. Many people helped in researching these presentations, and our sincere thanks goes out to all of them. If you have any suggestions regarding the presentation, please send me an email at the address on the screen. Now, about 43 years after the construction of the building, which was in 1855, the congregation undertook some major initiatives to improve the structure. The first of these was between 1898 and 1900. Now, thanks to a 1903 article in the Kendall County Record, we learned much of what was involved. As a reminder, you may want to pause the presentation over the next few screens to read the various snippets of the article. Now we start by learning about the two side doors in the front of the church, which originally led upstairs to the Singers' Gallery. These were removed, as you can read. Now pause if you wish. From the original plans for the building, these are the two areas that are circled. In today's building, the exterior doors exist, but they now lead to nowhere. From the inside, there's no evidence at all that these two doors exist. Now another change came about, this one in 1900. At that time, an addition to the back of the building was made. That's on the north side. Now in this article, the structure was called a chapel. Pause if you'd like to read about the details. We have several photos of this addition. This is one of them. Various construction dates detail the parsonage at the right, the public school building at the far left. That, of course, was the original Yorkville High School. Also note that the original steeple was still in place at the time of this photo. Now here at the far left is a peek of the addition from the front of the building's view. And lastly, the two images from the back of the church. At the center of the left photo, the back of the pipe organ contains the pipes themselves, which are now covered. These photos from the early 1950s are when the addition was removed. More on this in a minute. Now the next screens from that newspaper article detail the various changes that were made to the interior of the sanctuary. So you may wish to take a minute and pause the presentation from time to time. I'll comment on each of these screens briefly. This one tells that the work was done in the evenings, thanks to the new electric lights. Oh, many changes here. Seats, carpeting, woodwork, and a new steel ceiling was installed. Again, pause if you wish. And some additional information on this screen about that new ceiling. Wallpapering, lighting, and changes to the choir loft are detailed on this page. Again, pause if you wish. And lastly, a discussion about new pews and a tongue-in-cheek comment from the writer. Well, we have no photos of that time period, but happily we have one from 1950 showing those new pews. The organ, discussed in another segment, was installed in 1899. Now note the door at the right. That leads to the new addition, or the chapel. And here, read how the front entrance to the building was modified. And these last two screens are very complimentary to the improvements that the congregation has made to their church. And now some observations about the building's belfry. This photo that you saw earlier has some dates added. Note the original steeple at the top. We don't know when the original steeple was removed, but with these two photos, we know about when that happened. We continue to research this topic, by the way. Now, while the steeple was removed, the original bell is still in place today. Another view of the bell, which is still used for weddings and ceremonies, and some graffiti that was added to the bell over the years. Looking upward, we see the structure appears to be in rather sound condition. The supporting timbers are from trees in the area back in 1855. Early accounts tell of oak forests that were dominant in the area. And this view shows the hand-hewn timbers with notches for that original steeple. And finally, a view from the outside. Now, in 1955, the congregation undertook a major project. Church records detail the architectural drawings for a fellowship hall. Here you may want to pause and read the description of this $40,000 addition. This incredible photo shows how the structure was raised, the earlier addition removed, and then a basement and a large addition was added to the structure. Here, construction work is underway and almost completed. The fellowship hall with rooms for Sunday school classes is nearing completion. Now, to summarize the various improvements that you've just heard about, the timeline will help us visualize that. Parsonage next door to the building was added in 1871. Electricity was brought into the town. 1899, the pipe organ added to the building. A lot of beautification and upgrading that you heard about in this presentation. There's those two spiral stairways that were removed and steel ceiling and so on. Of course, after this, the Depression hit, World War II came in, but in 1955, that major undertaking of adding that Heritage Hall along with the lower level of the construction. And it was in 1957 when the town of Yorkville and the town of Bristol were united, were merged into one to become the United City of Yorkville. This concludes segment number 3.